Hello, my name is Dana Atwood, and I'm a technology consultant for the East Central Ohio Educational Service Center. Today we're going to be going over Google Drive, digging a little deeper into its navigation, and we're going to touch on docs and a little bit more of what it does. If you are a basic user of Google Drive or the first time using this may not be the best place for you just to jump in at. But feel free to stick around. You may pick up some tips and tricks along the way. First, we're going to start with just a basic Drive refresher, just to make sure we're all on the same page. We're going to go over some of the navigation of it, the layout and the settings and the organization. Then we're going to switch over to the Apps feature of Google Drive, and we're just going to discuss today Docs and spend some time with that, and to maybe find some hidden tips and tricks and things that maybe you didn't realize that were there for you, such as the optical character recognition feature and the Google voice typing. And first, we're going to start with our Google Drive. Basically, this is your interface to all of the Google Apps programs, such as Docs, which we're going to go over a little bit more, Slides, Sheets, and Forms. There are a few more other ones that are available as well. And if you're not familiar with Google Drive, basically it's that cloud-based storage for your Google Apps and storage for different file types, such as PDFs, and everything can be accessed from a device that has an internet connection. It works like your C drive on your desktop computer or like a USB drive. There are a few different ways that you can get to Google Drive. The best method and way to do this is to always make sure that you're in your Chrome web browser. A lot of these functions do not work correctly in Internet Explorer or Firefox, and some of the specific requirements that Google needs to be able to do some of these functions, like the optical character recognition or the voice typing, you must be in your Chrome web browser. No other browser is able to take care of that. But there are a few different ways that you can get to your Google Drive. Here are a couple of them. When you are in your actual email account, signed in to your Google for Apps for Education site, you can access Google Drive by clicking on the 9 little boxes at the top right of your window and then clicking Drive from there. And after you open up a new tab, you can also click on Apps on the far left of your screen, and those are the colorful boxes, or you can just type into your web browser drive.google.com. And as long as you're signed into your account, it should navigate directly to your actual Drive account. All right, I'm going to hop over to my Drive now. And I'm going to access it by clicking on my little 9 boxes over here and clicking on Drive. All right, this is our PD test account, so it's not technically what my Google Drive looks like. It's not a fully functioning and working Google Drive, but there's just a few documents in here that I'll give you an example, and we'll make do with this. But this is the basic look of Google Drive. You have your navigation on the left, you have a few options on the top right, and then you have your Drive and your actual documents in the middle. All right, we're going to start with just doing a quick little refresh here. When you click the new button here on the left, you have the option to create a new folder. You have the option to upload a file, upload a folder, and then to go straight to your Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. And you also have your My Drive underneath of it. If you think of your My Drive as the root of your USB drive or the root of your computer on your C drive for your My Documents, this is where everything stores and stays. You also have a Shared with Me folder. This is anything that anybody has shared with you. So if you're working on something together with somebody else or somebody shared a document with you, that is where you will find that document residing. You also have Google Photos, which we'll probably touch on that in a separate webinar down the line. This is something that Google just reworked and rolled out something new with that. So that's another feature for another day. We also have our recent folder, and in our recent folder, that's probably my go-to place if I'm looking for something real quick that I just used maybe the other day. It's a great place to find documents that you are just obviously recently used. Starred is another location where if you're looking for something that's super important, maybe you can star your document. You'll see all the starred documents right there for you readily available. And then trash. Your trash, unlike your Gmail gets deleted every 30 days automatically. Your trash in your Google Drive has to be manually deleted. I really don't delete anything in there in my work account drive, but if I do send something to be deleted, I know that it's there, but I've never actually gone in to manually delete it just because, you know, there could be a case that I may need it down the line, but it's just I don't want it in my actual drive. So I kind of use it as another storage spot. Speaking of the storage, Google Apps for Education is unlimited. So that's another good feature. I don't have to worry about filling up my drive with stuff, so that's why I keep it in my trash. But at the same time, your Google Apps for Education account is unlimited with your emails and your Google Drive storage. So it's an awesome new feature that Google has enabled us so that we don't have to worry about our storage limits and our file sizes. Now, your personal Gmail account, that does have a file limit and a file cap, but your actual school account does not. So make sure you know that difference. And we're going to talk about the settings up here on the top right. We're not going to go over all of them, just a couple of them here real quick, just so you can see that difference. Right now we're in we're in a grid view with looking at how our documents show in our actual drive. If you click this button up here at the top, it's called List View. It'll actually put all of our documents into a smaller icons. You'll have the file name, the owner, the last date modified, and the file size. And you click the grid view again, and it gives you the bigger picture, kind of a little preview of what that actual document is when you scroll down. And it will make your folders a little bit smaller, and then when you open up your folders, you'll have those same previews as well. You have an option to sort your files, and then an option for viewing more details. Here's our settings gear icon. I'm not going to go over all of these settings here, but I do want to touch on a couple of them. I'm going to go ahead and click the gear and then click settings. And when you're in here, the main one that you want to just make sure that you check and enable is the offline. When you enable your files offline, you're allowing access on the computer that you do this to use your Chrome profile to be able to access these files whenever you don't have internet connection. Right now, I currently have my work account set up on this computer. Again, this is our PD account, so it's just a test account. So I don't want to set that up for this. And actually I can't because you can only establish that one connection. So you want to make sure you're doing this on a computer that you use on a daily basis, maybe not one that like in a library situation, or if you only use that computer in a class one period a day, you don't want to have that set up on there. But this is like strictly your main computer you want to do this on. That way you have that access if you happen to lose internet connection during the day. I'm going to go ahead and click Done. And the next thing I want to show you is the Google Drive for your actual computer. Google has made a download available that you can sync it to your actual hard drive of the computer, again, that you use on a daily basis. And it makes it look like it's actually on the computer itself. I'm going to hop back over here and show you what it looks like. So we're used to seeing the documents and your music and your pictures on your actual C drive of your computer. But what this does is it makes Google Drive its own folder and its own location. And it looks like how everything used to be set up on your actual computer, but you're able to drag and drop documents from your computer in here without uploading them to your drive. And then once you see the green check mark when you put something into your Google Drive this way versus the web-based, the green check mark means it's synced and that it's good to go. If you're maybe uploading a large file maybe at the end of the day and you're trying to get out of work quick, you want to make sure that you stick around, that the green check shows up, because if you want to access this file when you get home, it may not have synced all the way. And you wouldn't be able to access that file then until the next day you got back, and then you were able to check it again. So I always wait to make sure that I see that green check mark is showing, and then I'll go ahead and shut down or log off the computer for the day. With this Google Drive download, though, you may need your technology person in your district or your workplace to be able to assist with that, because it may need administrator credentials to be able to download the program. So just be aware of that as well. And then you can go ahead and go to the website, google.com/drive, and click download, and then you can click download for PC. Or while you're in your drive, I'll go back here real quick, you can click settings and download drive, and that'll take you straight to the website where you can download for your computer. Again, this would be on a computer that you use on a daily basis, probably about 90% of the time. Like I said, if you go to like a library situation, or if you use another teacher's computer during the day for a period, this would not be the computer that you would do that on. And again, that's Google Drive, a download for PC. All right, we're going to hop back to our presentation here. Google Drive offers a bunch of different features that some people may not be aware of, so we're going to go over a couple different things here as well. They just released this update for Drive for Android, and what this does is it allows you to scan all of your paper documents, such as a photo document, a receipt, a letter, maybe a bank statement, and when you take a picture of that with your phone and upload it to your drive will store them instantly as PDFs. It's going to recognize that it's a paper document. So that's kind of a different feature. And I'll kind of show you what you can do with that here in a little bit too. They also have, we just talked about the offline option. It's great that you can make your files available offline. So just like when you were using Microsoft Word, your documents were always saved to your computer because it wasn't web-based. So if you did lose internet, you still had access to your files. But by making your files available to you offline, you can still use your web browser and your drive to be able to access those files. You can make edits and changes to your document, and then once you receive an internet connection, again, those changes will be automatically uploaded and saved. Also, Google Docs, I'm going to point this out here in a little bit too, allows a revision history. So you can look back as far as 30 days on most file types, making it easy to see who has made the changes on a document when you share it. And if something changes and then it's not correct and you need to go back and change that, you have 30 days, you can do that, and you can restore previous versions of that document. So it's kind of a cool feature. I know I had a district that had shared an SLO with their staff, and they didn't make directions in there for that staff member to make a copy of it. So when they started passing this around and opening up the document, each teacher started making that their own. Well, they didn't make a copy of it, so then right off the bat, that file then and that template isn't going to be correct, because then each teacher was starting to make their own changes and it just wasn't working correctly. So then they were able to restore it, rechange, and send out their directions that the teacher had to make a copy of it, and then we were okay. So it was a great feature to be able to do that rather than having to worry about who had the original file and to go back from the start. All right, we're going to hop back into Drive here real quick, and we're going to go over some of the basic, maybe not so basic features, but just a couple of different visuals and pointers that I want to show to you to make sure that you're aware and you know that you can do. All right, if you look here under my Drive that I have here on the left, my folders are different colors. You have the option to color code your folders to different colors. You can make them the same color, and as however many folders that you can have all the colors, and there's no limit. So again, you can change them to the same, or you can change them to different colors. Or if you want the basic gray that they normally come with, you can put that back to the basic gray. And as I change that, it changes all my colors that I have in different spots too. So that's immediate and takes effect right then and there. Another feature that you can see is if you look on my folder here, there's a little silhouette of a person, and this folder doesn't have that. This means that I've shared this entire folder with somebody else. And when you share that, then you give certain editing rights to the people that you share it with. So that this is just that quick visual to show you how to do that, or that folder has been shared. I'll show you how you can share an entire folder, whether you right-click over it over on the left side, or you can right-click over it in your actual drive, and you click Share. You can come in here, and then you can type the name of the person that you want to share the file with. I'm going to start typing my actual work account email address in here, and then up here you have your sharing rights. I'm sorry, just right here. I'm sorry, to the left. To the actual right of the name, you have the sharing rights. I want to be able to edit it or view it. And when you share a straight document with somebody, you have the option to comment that they can only comment on it as well. So you'll see that difference. But for right here, for this folder, we either want editing rights or viewing rights. And with viewing, they can't make any changes. And obviously with editing, they can. Then here, you can also type a note to this person as well. So by doing that, I'm letting this person know that I'm sharing this document with them. They can edit it, and I'm also including just a little message. I like to include a message in all the documents that I share, especially with how much spam is going around anymore, especially involving Google Docs. I like to make it more personable. I don't want the sender, the person that receives the message to question, why am I sending this document to them? So in good practice, it's best to always make sure that you include just a little personal message in here. And then go ahead and click send. So it's going to say that it was shared with one person. Now let's say that maybe this person has left, or this person no longer wants to be able to make changes anymore. What you can do is you can go back, right click, and click share. So let's say we want to remove this person. You can click advanced, and you can click the X. Now maybe we sent it incorrectly. Maybe we realized that, oh, we only want this person to be able to view the document. You can select that drop down right there where it said can edit. You can make it say can view instead. So by doing that, now this person no longer make changes. They can only view the document. And then when you click save, then that takes effect. But you must click save to be able to do this. If you no longer want this person to have sharing rights to the document, you can click X. Also, if you want to change it so that this person is also an owner of it, and that owner is no longer you, if you're passing rights, so you're no longer a part of this project, or maybe you no longer need this anymore, it maybe pertains to them more, you can change it so that they are the owner of the document. So I'm going to go ahead and click X to delete myself from it now. And then I'm going to click Save. And I'm going to click Done. And you'll see my little shadow of a person here, the silhouette. It'll take a minute. It went from a shared folder to no longer a shared folder anymore. I'm going to click Refresh just to see if it'll go away. Maybe it'll take a few more minutes. Regardless, it'll go back to a normal folder here shortly. It's just not caught up quite yet. You can also share single files as well. I'm going to go into here and maybe this document here. And when you click share, you have the option to type the name in as well for the person. And here's where you can make it so they can comment. So they can only add comments to a document. So they can't really change the document, but they can view it and they can add comments. Can view only allows you to view the document. Sometimes there's a reason that you may need to send a link to somebody, a shareable link. That way they can be able to open the document. Maybe you don't want them to have editing privileges. Maybe this is something that you want to be posted to a website. The document you want to be posted to a website, and maybe you're going to be changing this document. So you're not going to send a PDF to somebody. You're going to actually send this link. I'll show you how you can send a link for a certain document. When you click on the actual document, you can click right click and then click share. And at the top, you have an option where it says get shareable link. We're going to click that. And by clicking this, there's a few more options. You can click right here where it says anyone with the link, and you can click more. And I like to go to this because you have a few more options here. Anyone with the link means that when you send this link to somebody and they connect it to the website, or they put it someplace that they need the link, this document to be visible for that connection to be made, as long as they can click on this link, it'll be able to open the document and they'll be able to see it. Now, if you change it to where it's anybody within your domain can find and access this, that means that if they're searching this document within your domain, they'll be able to see it, but they have to be logged into their domain. When it says anyone at ECO at your domain with the link, they'll be able to access it only within your domain, but they have to have the link. So here, you won't need the link. They'll be able to find it by searching for it. But this, you have to have the link and they have to be within your domain. You can't send it to somebody outside of your domain. And then off, only for specific people. So maybe you're working on a project as a department and you want to just invite certain people. So then you have to actually type in their names and you're just sharing it with certain people. But when you send this with anyone with the link, you can click save, and then you can click copy the link. Now the link's been copied to your actual clipboard. You can go back to your email account, you can click compose, and then you can paste the link into your actual email here that you're sending, and then you can send it to the person that you need to. Go back to my drive here. Drive is sometimes a little bit harder to navigate because you're used to looking at your C drive and you're knowing what folders you created, you know where you put things, you know where you saved things. I sometimes get lost in my drive. That's why I go to my recent folder quite a bit, just because I know if I was just working on something, I know I can find it quicker that way. Or if it's something that's important that I know I'm going to look at quite a bit, maybe an inventory report or something that I know that I need to get to right away, I'll star it and I can find it easier in my starred folder. So I can just right click on it and I can click add star. And when I go to my starred folder, it's going to be right there for me. But Google Drive, you can also search here in the top. So if you know what the name of it, you think that you knew it had to do something with forms, and you start typing forms, anything that is form related is going to pop up. And so that's a nice little feature that you don't have to have the exact full name of what you're searching for, but you know it's going to be something along those lines. If you think that it's a PDF, you can just click on PDF, and so all of your PDFs that you have will pop up there. If you think it's just a spreadsheet, as soon as you click that, anything that you think that Google thinks is a spreadsheet, so you can search that way if you're not quite sure what it is. Or you can click on the drop-down arrow here. It's kind of a little faded on the side. When you click in your Google Drive, it kind of highlights in the search box there, it kind of pops up a little bit. So you can kind of restrict your searches here a little bit more. You can make it so that it's just within your domain. So it's something that maybe search for files that were shared within your domain, you can click that. any sort of a type of file. So maybe you can't remember what it is named exactly, but you know for sure it was a presentation or PDF or drawing, just something you know for sure it was that, but you are able to click that to narrow it down a little bit more. You know, it was shared with you today, yesterday, the last 7 days, the last 30, or you can customize it. If you remember, enter a term that matches part of the file name or enter words that are found in the title. It does not search the body of what's in your actual document, just what it was saved or around the time it was saved or what it is. You can also search for the owner of it, shared with, maybe an email address. You think it was shared with your boss, so you're going to put your boss's email address in there, maybe help narrow it down. And or maybe you shared it with your boss and it's located in a certain file. So anywhere includes the search for any of the folders it could be under. So this just helps you search and narrow it down a little bit more when you're having trouble locating a certain file. I also want to point out just a couple more visuals here for you so that you can be able to see the difference and know the difference. Some of these icons will tell you what the actual file is. When you see the red with like a little mountains, that means it's a picture. When you see the blue or the green or the yellow of Google here, I'll show you these icons here. The blue with the lines just means it's a Google Doc. The green with the grid means it's a Google Sheets. And then the yellow with just like the blank white square in the middle of it means that that's the Google Slides. So that's the presentations that Google has to offer. So I know that this is straight up like Google document here. Anything that you upload to your account that's maybe in Word, that'll show with that W right here. So that's how you're going to know that that's a Word file. So that was uploaded to your account and it was done through Microsoft Word. And then here with the red with the PDF, that shows that it's an actual PDF, so it's that flat image. So just a couple of visuals that you can tell the difference of what your files look like. All right, we're going to go back to our presentation here. And we're going to go over Google Docs and dig a little bit deeper into Google Docs and to show you a few more functions and features that it has to offer. There's a lot of features that Google Docs offer that Microsoft Office does not. So I'm going to point out a couple of those differences to show you and so that you can play around with those and explore. One of the features that's so great and one of the big sellers with Google Docs is that you can collaborate with several people at once, actually up to 50 people. You can share your document with 200 people, but only the first 50 that are actually into the document are able to collaborate and be able to work on the document at the same time, such as their example that they have right here. They show up here at the top that there's 3 people currently in the document, and each person gets a certain color. So this one right here is pink, and you can tell that's that person. The one in yellow is in the middle, and the one in the blue is down here. So they're actually in 3 different places right now in this document, and they're actually editing it and working on this project at the same time. So you can't do that in Microsoft Word, only in Google Docs. So this is one of the features. So I'm going to hop actually into my Google Docs here and show you a couple different ways that you can get to your Google Docs. I'm going to close a couple of these windows I don't need. Okay, one way that I don't recommend, but I'm going to show you just so you can see the difference. When you go to your Drive, your apps launcher here on the right while you're in your Drive account, you have the option here to click on Google Docs. I wouldn't get used to opening it this way. It looks a little bit different than the other way in your actual Google Drive itself. Normally, if you come this way, the main thing that you're wanting to do is look for some different templates and maybe use those instead of creating a new document, or you can just open up a new document here. But you also see all the other docs you've created. It's just a different look, a different feel. I don't like going this way, and some people get confused. So I wouldn't recommend using these icons here. Instead, while you're in Drive, you can come over here to the New button and click Google Docs. Now, one thing that if you are a stickler about how your Drive looks and how it feels, maybe you have a new folder. I'm going to call this Math Period 3. I'm going to click Create. Maybe I want to create this document under my Math folder. I'm going to actually go into my Math folder. So yes, it's empty now. I don't have any documents in there right now. But when I click New and I click Google Docs, it's going to create my file right there under my actual Google Docs page. So when I open up my actual Google Docs page and I go back to my Drive, oh, I need to name it first. I'm sorry. I had an interruption. So when I go back to my Google Drive, I'm going to name this file, and I'm going to call this Math Period 3 Test. We'll just name it that for right now. And when I go back here to my Math folder, if you don't see anything in your folder for the first couple minutes and it's not showing up, click refresh, and it should pop up. There you go. And that also works with if somebody shares a file with you or shares a folder with you and you're not seeing that right away the first time you go to it, don't freak out and think that, oh, Google didn't share it. Always hit the refresh button here at the top to make sure that it filters through, and then they should be there for you. But here's my actual document. So now that we're in here, I'm going to go over a couple different features and a couple different things that you can do while you're in here. If this is going to be important, some document that you're going to need to revisit quite a bit, go ahead and star it while you're in here. That way you know that you can find it faster sometimes and through our starred folder. So I'm going to click starred, and is my document in here? There it is. So it just popped up. So my Math Period 3 test now is starred. It's going to show up in there too. All right, it's always an important thing too, as soon as you get into your document, that you rename it or put a name in there. It comes through as Untitled Document the very first time that you open up your Google Docs. If you don't rename it there and you don't do that right away, in your Google Drive, you are going to have several documents that say Untitled Document or Untitled Sheets. And so I'd get in the practice of doing that right away so you can find your file a little faster. Yes, you can sort it by recent, or you can sort it by the date that the last that you used it. But I get in the habit of always giving it a name right away. Another thing that we're going to go to now under our file, because you're used to either in Microsoft Word, you're saving your document or doing a save as. With Google Docs, one of the another great points about it, everything saves all the time. So if you look right here, it says all changes saved in Drive. Every change you make is automatically saved in Drive. The last edit was 2 minutes ago when I named my actual document. So I'm going to start typing something here. Hello. Hope you are having a great week. All right, so as soon as I did that, if you know, it says saving, and it says all changes saved in Drive. So there is no more save button in actual Google Docs. It is just file. There is no save. So it saves it automatically. So you don't have to worry about always saving it. If you happen to lose power in the middle of the day and your computer crashes, know that the last point that you had is going to be available to you. So it's always going to be there. Unlike Microsoft Office, if you were working on something and you didn't go back and save it, sometimes the crash report, it may be able to save it for you and you may be able to recover it, but this, you don't have to risk that. So that's another great feature about Google Docs. And something that I want to point out as well, if you are working on maybe something that's like a template, maybe like the SLO template that I was talking about earlier, or something that you're going to use on a weekly basis, what I would do is I would go up to File and make a copy. When you make a copy of it, it's going to ask you to rename it. So obviously you're going to title the first document your template, and this is going to be now what you work on. The original template then, you won't have to go back and change unless you have to change a template down the line. But when you make a copy of something, you'll get the exact same thing after you make a copy of it. So I'm going to click OK. So now I've got, here's my template, and then here's my new one. So now I can make a change, making change on the copy. And I come back here, and my template does not have that. So that's my copy. And then you can change the name of it from here. Just adding something else to make it a different name. So I'm going to go back to my actual drive, back to my folder. Click refresh. Did it actually copy there? Nope, it probably just copied under my drive. Yep, it copied straight to my drive. So I can drag and drop it and move it to my math period folder. All right, so now I've got both my documents there. I've got my copy and I've got my template. So that's, again, File and make a copy. And that works as well as somebody shares a document with you and maybe you're not editing it together. Maybe it's something that you want to keep in your drive, but if they change it and you want the original, I would make a copy of it. That way you have that as well. I like the Organize feature that's down here as well. When you click Organize, it allows you to put it in the actual spot you want it. So when I came in here and I saw it first, it was under just my actual drive. So by clicking that, my file then disappears from the folder I actually moved it to. I'm going to go back and click my drive, and my file should be back here. Yep, there it is. So I want to actually put it back in that Math Period 3 folder. So I'm going to go back to the top. I'm going to click my file, and I'm going to click Organize. And I'm going to check Math Period 3 and move. I also, if you notice, have the option to create a new folder. So rather than going back to your Google Drive, you can actually create a new folder here, and it'll show up in your folder hierarchy as well. And it'll actually go into that file. So I'm going to click Cancel. I'm going to go back to my Math Period 3, and I think it's already there. I didn't need to refresh, but yes, it's already there. So that's great. So that's, again, under File, and that was Organize. You can also move it to your trash, so that's the same as deleting. Here's the revision history, and here's where you can see that of what's going on. Again, you have 30 days to see anything that was changed or made, or the changes that were made. So if you share this document with somebody else and they make changes, when you come in here, you'll see all the changes and all their different names. If it's just one person, obviously, you're just going to see their name. But I can click here, and it says restore this revision. So if I want to go back to the original that it was, I can do that. It's going to say restored revision today and the time. But if I decide that I really didn't want it to go back to the beginning, I wanted the one that it was, I can click on that again, and I can click restore this revision. And it brings back those changes. So again, that's File and see Revision History. And that's where that is. That's another feature that is not available in Microsoft Word. A couple of different things that I want to show and point out to you next. We're still under the File option. You can download a document as Microsoft Word, as a rich text format, and as a PDF, and a few other ones. The main one I use in here is the PDF. Now, if you create a really long document, or even just a couple pages, but something that you want to save as a PDF, but you want to save the whole entire thing as a PDF, this is a great option for you to use because it allows you to actually save the whole thing. Now, maybe you only want to save a couple pages of the PDF. I'll show you how to do that as well here in a couple minutes. But I do want to show you this too. You can email collaborators. So let's say you share this document with a couple people. You can also send an email to them about the document here. And rather than going to your email, you can actually straight up email this document as an attachment. So you can attach it as a PDF or as the Word file. You can type in who it's going to. The subject of the email actually goes as the subject of the name of the document and then the message. And you can also send copy to self. So this is sending it as a PDF right now, or you can send it as a Word document. Now, this is something that you want to be able to edit with the person and actually work together. I would share it instead of doing it this way. But you can type your message and you can send a copy to yourself as well. We're going to go back to File here. Page setup, you have your basic setup here, if it's portrait or landscape, your paper size, and for whatever reason, you can change the full color of your actual document if you'd like to do that. It's under page setup, and then your margins. When you set your margins for yourself and then you share it, please know that it does not send those margins and keep it the same way for the other person, at least not what I have found. Maybe Google's changed that now, but just test that to be sure, because it will make everything a little bit off once you share it. All right, and then I'm going to go down to print. There's a hidden feature here in print, and some people don't know about. I'm going to actually come back here and make this 2 pages just so you can see the difference here. Page 2. And I'm going to insert a horizontal line just so you can see that difference and the visibility of it. I'm going to go back to File and Print. Now, when you go into File and Print for the first time, if you've not printed before from Google Docs, it's going to come up as Save as PDF. Obviously, you're wanting to print the document, so you're going to click Change, and you're going to find the printer you want to print to. But for this case, in this situation, I actually want it to save as PDF because I want you to see that what you can do with this, and it's kind of a cool feature. Maybe you have a couple different pages here, but you only want page 2 to be saved as a PDF. Maybe this is something that you want to upload to your school website, or it's a flyer you want to create, but you need somebody to print it, or maybe there's just a reason that you need only 1 page of this document to be a PDF. You can select under here where it says Pages, make sure your destination says Save as PDF, and your pages, you can type in the number 2. And what this does is it takes away page 1. So I'm scrolling up and down right now, and I can't get to my page 1. This is only showing me page 2. And by doing this, I'm going to click Save, and this is actually going to save it to my computer. So it doesn't save it within your Google Docs. It actually saves the download. I'm going to put this on my desktop, and I'm going to click Save. So now right now it's downloading that and saving that strictly to my desktop as a PDF. So I come to my C drive, and I'm going to click Desktops. I'm going to look for this folder, or the name of the file. I'm going to open it up, and this is strictly going to be my PDF, and it's going to be my page 2 for my PDF. So that's all that I'm going to have. But again, it saved it to my computer. So now if I want to upload this back to my Google Drive, I can do that. Or I can email it as an attachment, or I can do whatever I need to do with this straight up PDF of page 2. But if I wanted the whole thing to be a PDF, again, I can either do download as PDF, or I can do print. And if I wanted the whole thing to be a PDF, I can just click on all. So it saves it here too. But a great thing is if you have a 70-page document and you only want a couple of the pages to be actually saved, you can follow their example here. You can do like 1 through 5, and put a comma in there. Maybe you want page 8, comma, and then pages 11 through 13. Now you can do this as well with an actual PDF. Let me go back to my drive here. I don't believe I have a PDF that is longer than 1 page. But when you open your PDF, let me see if I can go through it here. And then you click print. Let's say this is a 70-page PDF, and maybe that's already been established, it's already been created. Maybe it's a manual and you only want one of those pages. You can do this as well. Rather than print your PDF, you can click Save as PDF, and you can type in the page. Maybe it's page 50 out of 70 pages. Obviously, I only have 1 page here, so it's not going to work correctly. But you're able to pull that 1 page out of the PDF versus having to print the whole thing and wasting the paper. So it's kind of a nifty feature that some people don't know it exists. So I wanted to make sure that you knew about that. I'm going to go ahead and click cancel here. And I'm going to close this and close this. So I'm back to my drive. I'm going to go back to my Word document here that we were working on. I'm sorry, my Google Doc. It's hard to get in that transition, especially if you've used Word all your life. All right, so we've gone over File and what you can do in there. Under Edit, it's pretty much the basic same features that were in Word. The same with View and Insert. I just want to show a couple different things here with the images that you can do. Images with Google Docs is so much easier to use than with actual Word. You can upload straight from your computer by clicking on Upload, selecting your picture, and clicking Open. And if this is a picture that you want to use, it just goes straight in there. You can manipulate the picture as you wish. You can click Wrap Text, so then you can manipulate it this way, and you can make it however big that you want it to be. You can right-click, then you have options to crop it, image options. You can reset the image when you click on it and click Format. You have those same options over here as well. But that's how you would bring in an image in from your computer. When you go back to Insert an Image, you can take a snapshot. It turns on your webcam if you have that enabled, and you can take a picture of yourself, or maybe you're needing to show something. You can do that as well by URL. So if you have a URL, a web link to the image, you can paste that in here and it's going to show up that way. Your albums, which links to your Google Photos, and that will show up here. Your Google Drive, so any photos that you have in your actual Drive account are going to show up here. And they're in through your Drive. You're shared with me in recent. You can find those there. And then search. Let's say maybe you're wanting to upload a picture of something from the web, but you didn't go to the web yet to search for it. Search is already built in to your actual Google Doc. So I'm going to type in Ohio State, and we'll see what pops up here. All right, so maybe I want to use this logo right here. And so I just need to check on it and click Select, and it's going to insert that into my document. And again, you can manipulate the size. Scroll back up and find it. I'm going to wrap the text so I can move it back up here. And you'll see it's not anywhere else in my document, it's just right here. I can right click and I have different options here, or I have actual options up here on my toolbar as well. All right, so that's basically inserting the image. So again, it's not just inserting an image that you have saved on your computer like Microsoft Word did. You have several different options. And that's pretty awesome to be able to have all those different options to find the images that you're looking for. You can still enter footnotes and headers. You can enter page numbers and page count and page breaks. So those are pretty much all the same. And footers as well. You can do table contents and bookmarks. So those features carried over as well. I want to touch on tools here real quick. Tools have a couple different things that Microsoft Word does not offer, such as the research feature and the voice typing and the translate document. Those are kind of three big updates and new things that Google's done a great job with. The research allows you to research something that you're currently working on. Maybe you have a student working on research papers. They're able to use that feature, insert images, and it cites them automatically. Insert quotes from documents, and it cites it automatically. It's a pretty awesome feature. I think in a future webinar, we're going to focus some time on the research and the voice typing as well. But for right now, I'm just making sure that you know that it's there and an option. The voice typing, we're going to talk a little bit about today, and then we're going to focus more on a webinar here coming up. And then the translate document, again, you're able to translate it from different languages. So those are available there. We're going to go back to this voice typing here in a little bit, though. You can insert table. Add-ons is another feature that Microsoft Office doesn't really utilize or use, but you can add on certain features that will help you with productivity, and there's a ton of them to explore. And if there's any of them that you add and you want to remove, you just click on the Manage Add-ons again, and you can remove them that way. And then I want to go over the sharing again. You can share this document up to 200 people, but only 50 can collaborate at once. All right, we're going to hop back to my drive, and I'm going to go over this next feature called Optical Character Recognition. Google has just recently updated this and made this a little bit better than when they first launched it. So again, Google is always working on improving their products and making them the best that they can. And they've actually done an amazing job with this feature, and I kind of like it. I don't see it being used all the time, but if this is a situation that occurs that you may need to be able to use this, definitely try it. It's worth a shot. Basically, what the optical character recognition does is allows you to convert an image file to text with Google Drive, and it allows you to do this with a document such as a PDF as well. But there are a few things to keep in mind when you do this. You can only do this right now with 4 file types. So this is a JPEG, a PNG picture file, a GIF picture file, and a PDF document file. A couple more things to keep in mind is that the resolution, the text should be at least 10 pixels in height. The orientation for the documents must be right side up. So if you take your picture with your camera and on your phone, and maybe you tilt your phone so it's long or sideways instead of straight up and down, you're going to have to rotate your picture in your computer before you upload it to your Google Drive in order for this to work. Also with languages and fonts and characters, Google Drive will detect the language of the document, but your best results is to make sure that it includes common fonts such as Arial or Times New Roman. It will change it if it's not those, though. It's also make sure that you have sharp images with even lighting and clear contrasts. A blurry photo will decrease the quality of the text. So when you take a picture of something, make sure that there's no fuzzies or hairs in the way. Make sure there's no shadows too, because that shadow overcast will play with the conversion of it. And file size for the PDF file is 2 megabytes. So it's something that you want to make sure that you watch as well. I'll show you kind of what I did here. I took a picture of a book. I actually had this dog training book that I had at home sitting on a shelf. The dog training part didn't really work so hot, but I had this book, so I thought, hey, we'll make it be useful here. So what I did is I took my camera on my phone, took this picture, then I uploaded it to my Google Drive, or you can email it to yourself if your drive's not connected to your phone. You can email it to yourself and then save it to your Google Drive. But the main thing here is that you want to, again, be using your Chrome web browser. You want to be logged into your account, and you want to have your picture sent to your Google Drive account. So here's my picture. It's pretty clear. Notice it has the header up here at the top with the little graphic and the line, and then it has this text. So now what I want to do is I want to take this text and I want to convert it. So I want to make it editable. So I have my flat image, and if you watch, I'm actually going to delete these here real quick so I don't get confused. I have my picture right here. So here it is. I've got my picture icon. I know this is the picture. I just clicked on it to make sure. So as I'm looking at it from my Google Drive, I'm going to right click. I'm going to click Open With and Google Docs. What this is doing right now is it's converting that picture to text, to editable text, so I can be able to manipulate it. It may take a couple minutes, especially depending on how big the file is. So what it's going to do, it's going to open up your file. It's going to name it the picture file or whatever you had, but it's going to make it a Google Doc. It's going to insert your picture. So here's our picture. Then when you start scrolling down, you will actually see your text. You can highlight it. You can make it bold. You can change the color. And if it's something you don't want, you can click delete. And I can undo that as well. Again, this is my editable text. So my conversion did work. One thing you want to do and get in the habit of doing when you do this, take the time to read to make sure that what you wanted to come through did come through correctly. You want to make sure the first sentence here, teaching your dog to perform tricks requires a solid foundation of basic obedience training. Teaching your dog to perform tricks requires a solid foundation of basic obedience training. So again, it came through correctly, but I guess I want to make sure you scroll through the rest of the document just to make sure that maybe something didn't come through right. It looks down here, I said skills A-to trick. Come back up, skills, and we'll be ready to move. So kind of towards the bottom, it got a little fuzzy, and you can tell that in my picture. So obviously I'm going to have to come back through here and make a couple changes in editing format there, and then get rid of any of the junk that maybe they had added. So it saw something that was still down there and it added something. So again, it's always good to make sure you have a clear image, make sure there's no fuzzies, and it did get a little blurry down here in the corner. Also notice that any of the pictures and the formatting up here that I had did not come through. So know that you're not going to have those images. If that's a deal breaker, obviously you can search to find a picture of a doghouse and throw it in there if you need it. But again, you're not going to have all that fancy format. But you at least have the text. You're not going to have to retype the whole thing. I know for the fast typers, sometimes it'll be faster if you just retyped something that you needed to be put on here. But for the slow typers, this is a time saver in that aspect. When you're done with the picture and you no longer need it, you can delete it. And you can delete anything else that you don't need with it. And then again, you can do what you want to with this. If you want to make this back to your editable text and do anything that you need to with it, this is where you can do it. So again, you can change the font, change the color. If you really didn't want this whole paragraph at all, delete it, and then you have what you need. When you go back to your drive, I'm going to click refresh here. You'll have your picture here. Your picture still remains the same. And then you'll have the actual file itself. So here is our picture that we took with our little image showing that it's a picture, and then our Google Doc with the actual blue lines. So we know that this is our actual Google Doc now. So that's pretty awesome and a feature that you can use that could come in handy. I'm going to show you how it looks with a PDF as well. So let's say you uploaded a PDF. Here's my actual PDF that I have. So if you look, I have the actual, actually that's not the one I want to use. This is the one I want to use. Here we go. All right, so here's the PDF that we have. That I found online. So we've got a logo, we've got a little header, we've got some bold font that's blue, we've got a line, we've got some more bold font with a different color, we've got italicized, we've got a couple different paragraphs here, and some that are bold, and this is one page. We also have a footer down here at the bottom. So there's a couple different features going on with this. So what I did is I found this PDF file, I saved it to my computer, and then I uploaded it to my Google Drive. Again, you can do this as well by sending a PDF. If somebody sent it to you, you just have to save it to your Google Drive. That's the main thing, again, in your Chrome browser and in your account. You don't need to have it in preview mode. The best way to do it is be able to looking at it on your actual Google Drive, right-click and open with Google Docs. Again, this converts it, and it takes a couple minutes depending on the file size and how big and graphical intense it is. Remember, it strips your graphics and it strips a lot of the formatting. So again, the main feature of this is to have that editable text. That's why we're doing this. So if you notice, I'm going to go back to my actual PDF here. Here was my header that we had. Here's my PDF, and it's all gone. So again, the graphics have been stripped. Again, I can add that now since it's an editable PDF. So if I have another image I want to upload, I can do that as well. But it took away my bold formatting, and it took away the color that was here because maybe they couldn't match that same one. So now I can go ahead and I can change that color. I can't remember, was the line above it or below it? Not that that really matters too much, but I can insert the horizontal line again, so I can kind of make it how I needed it to be. I can bold that, and I can also change it, the different fonts, however I want it to be. And then I can come back here. My italicized came through, but my bold did not. So I can go back and I can bold the certain fonts or the certain areas that I want bold again, and I can be able to manipulate it. Again, it saves it the exact same name of the document. So I'm going to go back to my drive where I've got my PDF here. So the PDF doesn't change or doesn't get altered, but here's my PDF, and then here's my document right next to it in the Google Docs format. So then I can edit it and change it. So this feature is great because it takes that flat image where you couldn't do anything with it except for copy it, upload it to your email, send it again, but it allows you to change some wording. So maybe you lost the original file, or maybe you have a manual that you want to change and adjust down the road. This is a great way to save that content without having to retype everything. All right, and we're going to switch over real quick back to our Google document. I'm going to close a couple of these windows here, and we're going to go over real quick the voice typing. The voice typing is a new, well, you've been able to do the voice typing, but they've also added certain commands to it as well, which is a new feature. And these commands we're still learning how to use it. So we're going to have another webinar here down the road where it just strictly focuses on using the voice commands as I get better at them as well, because it's really a big learning curve to be able to do this. I am a typer, so to me, I think it's faster to just go ahead and type something out. But sometimes I just want to send an email, or if I'm busy, and sometimes it's easier just to kind of talk it out too. So I know, like on my phone, maybe the text to the voice to text, I do that a lot as well. But I was just thinking the other day when I was sitting at my desk, I wish my email could do that. But I know I can do that on my phone when I send an email. But if you go back to your email here and you click compose, there's no microphone option. Maybe someday Google will get this set up. But for right now, there's not that option. But I was just thinking, I still could do that with my document that I have here. So again, I'm going to rename this here real quick just so I can have that named. I'm going to call this voice to text example. All right, so I'm going to basically talk out an email that I would send to somebody. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it. So we're going to go and we're going to click on Tools. We're going to click Voice Typing. So basically, when you do this for the first time, there's going to be a little pop-up box that pops up that says Allow Microphone. You'll have to click Allow to be able to do this. And as long as you have a working microphone on your computer or your cell phone, you're going to be able to do this, or your other device or tablet that you're using. Now, if you start speaking, anything you say will show up on here. So as soon as I click the microphone, it's going to start typing. Now, if you need to stop talking at a certain point in time and think. Sometimes it'll shut off automatically, or you can click to end, but then you can click to turn it back on again. So it's not a problem. But just know that anything you say will show up here. So I thought for this example, I'm going to, instead of typing out my email this time, I'm going to talk it out, and then we'll go from there and see how this works. All right, here we go. Emily, comma, new line, new line. I've finally finished working on the document that we were talking about, period. I'm going to share that with you shortly, period. I know we originally talked about sending the document to Bob as an attachment in an email, comma, but I really think that I need to share this with him as well, period. What are your thoughts on this, question mark? If I share this, then he will be able to collaborate with us and make changes as well, period. By not sharing this and only attaching it in an email, he will not be able to make changes, comma, and then we will have to go back in and make all those changes, period. New line, new line. If you are okay with this, comma, just reply and let me know, period. I am excited, exclamation point. I hope this project goes through as planned, period. New line, new line. New line. Thank you, comma, new line. New line, Dana. All right, so as you can tell, there were a couple different things here through my document. My new line at the bottom didn't quite work. I am fighting a sore throat at the moment, so that could have been part of it as well. But anything you say is obviously going to show up. They're going to give you some underlined words, and you right-click on it. They're going to say, did you mean, no, I didn't mean attacking, I meant attaching. So that is great. But I think the majority of it comes through as you're talking. So I'm going to show you the example here. What happens when I just talk. And so you can see what it does too without some of the voice commands and the formatting. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. I'm going to copy the actual text that I have here at the top. I'm going to paste it in my email. So that way I can actually send this email, because from right here, this isn't going to send the email. I just did this little test to show you, number one, the voice typing. And I'm going to show you the difference now as to how I'm just actually not saying period. I'm just continuing to talk, and I'm showing you what it looks like without the formatting and without adding new lines. So that way now you can see the difference. So I've actually formatted it with a couple voice commands. Again, there are several voice commands that you can use. You can do the highlighting, you can change the colors of the text, you can add columns and tables. It's crazy the stuff that you can do with your voice. But for right now, I just wanted to show you the example here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. I'm going to go back to my email. I'm going to click compose. Obviously, I'd type the name of the person who I'm sending it to. And then from here, I'm just going to right click and paste my message in there, and then I can send it to the person that I need to. So again, this is a voice typing example, and I just did a quick little example of maybe something that I would want to send as an email. Maybe one day Google will put that microphone button on the email, but for right now, it's still kind of new and fresh. It's definitely important that when you're using your voice and typing to do this, that you speak clear and you talk into the microphone. If you make a mistake when you're typing with your voice, you can use your cursor to make the mistake and fix it without having to turn off the microphone. And after you correct the mistake, you can move the cursor back to where you want to continue. Right now with the voice commands, you can say period, comma, exclamation point, question mark, new line, a new paragraph. You can't do quotes yet. I tried that and that didn't work. But again, it's important that you use your Chrome browser with this. And like I said, we're going to do another webinar down the road once I learn this a little bit better for the actual commands that you can use to format it. But this is just a quick example of what you could do with it. All right, and that wraps it up for today. If you want to go ahead and check out some of our previous recorded sessions, you can go back to our website here, google.ecoest.org, and you can check out some previous webinars that we have. I'm going to upload a couple short examples here shortly of a few different ones that a few different things that Google has to offer as well that are not as long as our other webinars. And also you can register for future trainings that we have coming up. And again, my name is Dana Atwood, and you can follow me on Google Plus at Dana Atwood 25. I'm always uploading some great helpful tricks and tips that Google is putting out there all the time, and we'll go from there. All right, well, thanks. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time.